All right, it's Chris Pre, and I am welcoming back the famous Greg and Cami Goucher, head coaches with the community, high six members. Welcome back, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Chris.
I don't know that we're famous, though.
Well, you will be after this deal. All right,
Okay.
let's dive in. I know it's a sandwich lease. We just started talking before we filmed, but let's dive in first to the Greg. I guess your side, the source of this.
Yeah, the source was an expired. He actually had it on the market for only a couple months. However, he pulled it off because he was going to try to sell it himself, and because he didn't want to have to pay a realtor. And we got to him based on a cold call and started talking.
So you were calling as an expired. Then you found out he was going to go FSBO, or did he already kind of pivot?
He was getting ready to go FSBO. He had not gone FSBO yet.
Interesting. The reason I say interesting is you said something to get him not to go FSBO, so maybe we can talk about that a little bit. Do you remember anything in particular or no?
Yeah, it's a very common phrase, and maybe Cami can elaborate on too, but it was more of, hey, we're actually, Jasmine, our seller specialist, got to him and had just basically told him our phrase, hey, our ideal seller is someone who's looking to get the most but can wait for their money. And he thought, that's me. So then she booked a call with me, and that's really how it relayed from there.
But at the appointment, we were talking about how short of a time period he owned the property. And
Yes.
So that led into the conversation about, the taxes. So I think it was a little bit of both. He just was a good fit for the program so he could get all of his equity.
All right, so I want to highlight two things because perhaps maybe there are some people watching this that are newer, and you guys said two things that are important. Seller specialist. In some niches of real estate, you might hear that called an acquisitionist. Greg and Cami, in particular, Greg has duplicated himself in Jasmine, right?
Yes.
Jasmine doing calls. For her to be able to set that up, she's well trained. So that's part of what we show you guys how to do for the viewers to know. Secondly, Cami, I think you were alluding to capital gains, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So there are all kinds of nuances here, and I just want the viewer to hear that because it's cool to go to a seminar, it's cool to take a course, but when you go out in the field, there's different things that come up, and that's why the community works so well together. So I just want to point that out because that came up in just that one question. So really cool. Okay, structured term of what, guys?
Structure the term as a 48-month sandwich lease.
48-month, awesome. Talk about the debt and the equity, and just as a review, because I know everyone's not a repeat viewer here. In a sandwich lease, we look to determine sale price is only looked at for a formula, meaning Greg is going to go over now with you what the debt was on the property, what they agreed to give the owners, the equity, and you could call that a price if you want, but you're going to see why it's not the price because we're going to get the benefit of principal pay down. So what was the debt on this property at the time?
Yeah, the debt was $208,186.
Okay, and I'm sorry I didn't ask this, Greg. So he was on and expired, even though it was short. At what price? Do you have that?
Yeah, he was trying to sell it for $300,000.
$300K.
Yep, $300,000.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so 208. And what did you agree to for equity?
We agreed to $71,814 for the total of $280,000. So we got an extra $20,000 save discount on the price, basically.
Yeah, so I would imagine, did you just go with the script of what were you going to net if you sold it?
Exactly. My question to him was, hey, Mr. Seller, what is it that you're looking, I don't care about price. What is it that you're looking to net at the end of the deal? And he said, oh, around 70,000, a little more. And that's exactly what we were able to get him. So
Sweet. That's so key, guys. That one-liner sets up the whole conversation that Greg had. And obviously, Greg knows the scripts, but that one-liner does very, very well. Okay, then Cami, you brought it to the market at how much?
Well, we went originally with $319.9, had a lot of kickback. Market was just not, calling for that, even at an appreciated, out 2 years. Also went with an appraisal and inspection, and then finally settled with 3099.
3099. Okay, not too shabby still. So let's talk about, let's kind of go out with the 3 paydays. Deposit,
20,000.
20,000, which means we might be able to do over the term more, right?
We are, however, we didn't have that set up just because we were price negotiating with down payment.
Yeah.
So we started 5,000 under, and so the fact that I got to the 20, I was super happy.
Got it.
And we just stuck with that. I think they're a strong buyer, and I'll be surprised if we have to extend this term. So that's what we went with. They wanted additional funds to put into the property, which I was super happy to hear about. This down payment came from lottery winnings.
Okay. I definitely don't remember that conversation. Probably you told me. All right. So this begs then a couple things. We're talking about someone that was setting up to win, as I hope the viewers know by now, and if you knew, we set our buyers up to win. Unless they have some wacko life event, we can't help. We're setting them up to win. So with this buyer, their income presumably is fine for the end zone here?
Yes.
Okay. Lottery. Okay. Did you get first month up front?
No, that was another thing that we were negotiating. And she said, if I'm going to put 20,000, I want it all going towards, all down payment, which the other buyer I was picking was less than. So that's why we went with her, and thought that we would, it's okay that we would miss out on first month's rent for the additional 5,000 that she was putting towards the down payment.
Yeah, I think I would have fell off my chair when she said that and said, no, like this is a lease versus but okay, we're moving on.
There's a little nuance on this too, right?
What?
The equity enhancement.
Oh, yes. She's planning on definitely using the equity enhancement program. So I anticipate she'll probably, put money towards that because of that. She specifically called that out. Yeah.
Yep, that's perfect. Okay, so this makes sense now. This makes more sense. So ego-wise, that probably she was okay with that, but she wasn't okay with. Yeah. All right. So equity enhancement program in its briefest form for the viewer is they have the option to put more money down towards their down payment throughout the term. Every student can do what they want with it. We cap it at $500 a month because we match 50% of that going as a price reduction. So let me convert that to real numbers. If they put down $500, they get a $500 credit on their deposit. At the closing, they account for that, they source it, but we reduce the price by $250. That's what we do. Cami and Greg, do you do rough same formula or different?
Yes. Yeah, same formula. And she specifically wanted me to go through that with her, so she very clearly understood how that applied to,
Awesome.
her down payment plus her purchase price. So I will be shocked if she doesn't utilize it.
Yeah, and you can run promos during the year like we do and just say, hey, this month, Christmas or whatever, it's 100% match for match, up to 500, up to 1,000. We did that last year and got it. So yeah, it improves cash flow for Cami and Greg, and that it gets the buyer more and more vested in the home, and it sets them up to be better qualified when it comes time for the loan. So all good. Equity enhancement program. All right, monthly payment going out on the 208 underlying debt.
Yeah, $1,725.
Nice. Is that PITI?
It is, yes.
Principal, interest, taxes, insurance, payment incoming from the buyer.
2228.
It's a good one. So
Yeah.
what's that
It is.
difference?
503.
Nice. What's cool is for the viewer to know is you start looking at these like Cami and Greg keep a running tally of all their deals, and literally as a team we do this. You can say, all right, our average is hitting like 480, and literally your next deal you try to keep inching that up, and that's net cash flow every single month per deal per month. So what's this? What term did you give the buyer, by the way?
24 months.
24 months, so that's way ahead of your due date, and you have plenty of time to wiggle if you needed to, et cetera, and you control the deal. So
Yes.
what's this over 24 months?
$12,072.
$12,072. So just to kind of take a breath here for everyone, the payday 1, 20 grand roughly, payday 2, roughly 12 grand. All right, so let's go down to payday 3. And again, it's two things could happen here, so everybody knows. Could the buyer get their act together, really get on it, which some buyers do, and cash them out earlier, and these numbers would be lower? Sure. Could the buyer maybe, perhaps, which is more odds, like 80% odds, that they would say, if Cami and Greg don't bug them, could we maybe have 6 more months and this deal gets a little more lucrative? Sure. They get a full 2 years to mess with it at the end, so great wiggle room. All right, so price premium?
Yeah, 29,900.
29.9. The principal pay down on this 1725 is how much per month?
Yeah, it's small in a lot of our terms. It's $282 because you'd only had the mortgage for basically a little over a year.
Yeah, but I mean, when I look at
It's
these
still
smaller
decent.
deals, $200 or $300,
Yeah,
it's free money. Okay,
It
so what's
is.
that come to?
yeah. So a little nuance on this too. So we actually had it on the market for 4 months. So I put it at total of 28 months, which comes out to 78.96.
Okay, so once again, you brought something up. These are like second nature to you guys now, which is awesome.
Yep.
But the viewer's like, what? You just went by me again. So when we write our contracts, they wrote it. Did you write it contingent upon a buyer?
Sure
Yes.
did.
Okay, great. So they wrote their contract contingent upon a buyer. 4 months later, filled it. 9.9 out of 10, I think you guys would agree, the sellers are fine with that. You promised them the 71,814, they're fine, done. Some
right.
sellers say, whoa, there's 4 months, I want that principal pay down, right? Am I right, guys?
That's correct.
So you picked up 4 months of principal pay down while you were marketing the property and the seller was paying the mortgage.
That's right. That's
Pretty
over
cool.
$1,000 right there,
Yep.
just in principal pay down.
Sweet. All right. So let's see. Plus the 20 grand down leaves us at cash out with how much?
Payday 3 is 17,796.
17,796. I want to point something out here before we wrap up on these payday threes. How many deals are in your portfolio right now, you guys?
Like 14.
Okay.
Yep.
And payday threes for you guys then, I'm guessing, are going to start clicking away here, like one a month, and then eventually more than that, like
Yes.
coming up and for the foreseeable future.
Yes, we should have 2 this month, actually.
That's awesome. I love it. All right, so payday 3 comes up. I'm sorry, all 3 paydays?
49,868.
Which actually is close to your average, right? Aren't you guys around 55 grand if you take even the small deals and the big deals?
Yes.
Yes.
We are.
I mean, if we do 24 months.
Yeah.
Which,
But we're going to look to stack it and make a pivot on that too eventually.
All right, so Greg threw another curveball, so let me explain. So and then we'll wrap up. So pretty cool to know a couple things. One is, I hope as a viewer you know, and if not, this will be the first time hearing it, and that is, we could easily have done this deal at 48 months and make it look better. But that's not how we operate. We operate with trying to be conservative, trying to get the buyer out. If we go further, this deal times it by 24 months of all those calculations I just did. That's pretty cool. But Greg and Cami could also, he said they could stack it. We call it wealth stacking. Towards the end of this term, they could do a number of things. I'm not going to go into a whole new seminar here, but we do it at our live events where they can talk to the seller, negotiate a little bit off on that 70-something grand, maybe get it from another deal, maybe turn this into a sub-2 and own it for 20 years and own a finance. There are a lot of things to do on these deals. Or they can go, yeah, let's cash it out. We need the cash. Their choice. Pretty cool. Other than some negotiation on the sidelines with the seller. So that's what Greg alluded to. Wealth stacking is pretty cool, and it's what we do with all the higher level associates. So there's a lot of good juice there. Do you guys, anything I missed or you want to add that we kind of skipped over before we wrap up for the viewers?
No.
Nothing.
Got all
Right.
the nuance.
Well, Greg and Cami, before we get off then, because you guys are got a really good grip on all the markets because you have all the coaches and all the students. We've got obviously several events coming up as always, but we have QLS Live coming up live and in person for the first time in 3 years this year. I don't care when they're seeing this. Can you tell them why they should be there? Because I met you in person in September of 19 at the last live QLS, I think.
Yes.
That's
true.
That's
So why should they be there before we jump off? Because that's really my call to action. Yeah, I'm assuming they're all in the academy and they're all in QLS. So now let's tell them why they should be at the event and we'll jump off.
I think that they should be at the event because we are a community that does what we say we're going to do. And our events, ironically, are structured around our model, which targets skill set, mindset, and systems. And all of those things are brought to you at our events. And I think that's great. We do what we say we're going to do. We live what we say we are. And we love when people join our community. So it's going to be an awesome event because we get to see each other in person this time.
Yeah. Just like everyone else, a lot of people want to see each other in person. And this is going to be a great event just because we're going to be able to do that. And it's going to be great to see everyone again.
Well, guys, go to the event page if you want to check out what's going on, because we have free stuff going on every week. Free. Go to smartrealestatecoach.com/events. But I would be remiss not to say go to QLSlive.com because it's our next live event. QLSlive.com. Thanks, guys, and congrats.
Thanks. Appreciate it.